With Nest applications, maintaining a separation of concerns has never been easier. This is because inside of Nest applications, everything has a defined structure in place, letting you work on the task at hand rather than worrying about organization or convention. If we look inside the root directory of our project, we'll see a lot of files that you may be familiar with already, such as package.json, tsconfig files, gitignore, ESLint configuration, but most notably here, we have a Nest-specific file called nestcli.json, which we'll dive into later in this course. But the core of our Nest application actually lives in the source directory, so let's open it up and see what we have inside. Firstly, our entire Nest application starts with the main.ts file. In this main.ts file, we can see that our Nest application is being created via nestfactory.create, taking in an app module. With this application reference, we can now listen and bootstrap our application to port 3000. Think of this file like the main starting file for your typical Node.js application, where a lot of root level work needs to be done. But what was this app module we just passed in? Well, app module is the root module for our application containing everything that our app needs to run. This root module itself can contain other small modules that are all different features or chunks themselves, but when brought together here in app module, we get our complete application. Don't worry if this doesn't totally make sense yet, we'll be diving into modules more later on. Let's open up this app module file and take a look inside. As you can see, we have a regular class here, but with the Nest.js @module TypeScript decorator on top. If you're not familiar with decorators, they are simply functions that apply logic. Decorators can be applied to classes like we're seeing here, but also to methods, properties, and even parameters. Nest.js utilizes decorators extensively. You'll be seeing them throughout our code in this course. We can see that within this app module decorator here, we have encapsulated everything that is important to this module's context. We even have a few controllers and providers included with our starter CLI application. Let's take a look at the app controller and see what it has inside. Similar to the module we just saw, a Nest.js controller is also just a class, but with a different @controller decorator on top. We'll be diving deeper into controllers shortly, but for right now, know that controllers are where specific requests are handled by your application. In this controller, we can see that it utilizes the app service provider to help separate out business logic from the controller itself. We'll also be diving into how providers like this work and dependency injection in future lessons. As we said, controllers handle specific requests to our application. We can see that our starter application includes one GET request that is set up for us. This GET request utilizes the app service we just saw calling the getHello method on it. If we dive into the app service provider here and go to definition, we can see that it's simply returning the string of hello world we saw when we ran our application moments ago. And that's the extent of our project so far. Right now we have a very simple application with just one module. But as we grow this application, we'll see how Nest's modular project architecture encourages us to group features such as routes, services, into their own modules. In the end, this helps us maintain a higher level of reusability, testability, and even helps reduce disorganized code in our applications. If some of this doesn't make sense yet, don't worry. It'll all come together as we build out the application throughout this course. Now that we've seen some of the fundamental building blocks of Nest, let's beef up our sample application to really see Nest in action.